In March 2009, a 70-year-old man stood before a judge in New York City. He did not cry. He did not beg. He simply said, "I knew what I was doing was wrong. I thought it would end. It never did." That man was Bernie Madoff, and the sentence he received that day was 150 years in prison. He would never walk free again. But to understand how a man ends up dying in a prison cell, you have to understand who he was before. Bernard Lawrence Madoff was not born into wealth. He grew up in Queens, New York, the son of a plumber. But from a young age, he understood one thing deeply: how money moved. At just 22 years old, he started his own investment firm with $5,000 he had saved from working as a lifeguard. That small firm would one day become one of the most powerful on Wall Street. By the 1980s, Bernie Madoff was not just respected, he was worshipped. He served as the chairman of the NASDAQ stock exchange. Celebrities, charities, pension funds, ordinary families, they all trusted him with their life savings. Some people begged him to manage their money. He would sometimes pretend he was too exclusive, just to make them want in more. He had a penthouse in Manhattan, a villa in the south of France, a yacht named Bull. He had everything a man could want, and he threw it all away. Here is the truth that almost no one could believe when it came out. For over 40 years, Bernie Madoff never invested a single dollar, not 1 cent. Every statement, every return, every profit report he sent his clients was completely fabricated. He was simply taking new investors' money and using it to pay old investors. A scheme so old it has a name, a Ponzi scheme. But Madoff ran it longer and larger than anyone in history. When clients asked for their money back, he paid them from someone else's money. When they asked for their statements, he printed them from a fake office on the 17th floor that his own employees were not allowed to enter. He told himself it was temporary, that the markets would turn, that he would fix it. He told himself that lie for 4 decades, and then in 2008, the world's financial markets collapsed. Suddenly, everyone needed their money at once, and there was nothing left. $65 billion gone, thousands of families ruined, retirees who lost everything they had ever saved, charities that had to close. A Holocaust survivors fund wiped out. On December 10, 2008, his 2 sons, Mark and Andrew, turned their own father into the FBI. Inside prison, Bernie Madoff had time, too much time. 2 years after his arrest, his son Mark hanged himself. He was 46 years old. He left behind 2 young children. Bernie Madoff later said, "I carried that guilt every single day." His other son, Andrew, died of cancer in 2014. His wife, Ruth, the woman he had been married to for over 50 years, stopped visiting. In his final years, Madoff gave rare interviews from his cell. He spoke about his victims. He said he understood their hatred. He said the money meant nothing to him in the end, that he had never needed it. That greed had become a game he could not stop playing even when he wanted to. He asked for early release in 2020, saying he had terminal kidney disease. The request was denied. On April 14, 2021, Bernie Madoff died in a federal prison medical center. He was 82 years old. He died without his sons, without his wife, without a single friend in the room. He died with everything and nothing. So what does a man like Bernie Madoff teach us? He did not start as a monster. He started as a man who made one dishonest choice and then spent 40 years too afraid, too proud, and too deep to stop. Greed is not just about wanting more money. Greed is what happens when you stop being honest with yourself. When the image you have built matters more than the person you actually are. He had everything, he needed nothing. And yet he could not stop. The truth you hide today becomes the prison you live in tomorrow.